Alright, what's going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with another video. Yeah, man, another full first-round mock draft. I want to welcome a special guest back to the channel from the UK. Josh K, what's up, man?
I'm good, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. How's it in your neck of the woods in this weird time we're living in?
It is weird, isn't it? But just about getting through it,
Yeah, just
spending most of my time inside.
pretty much, yeah. Gotta take it
Just trying to stay safe.
take it one day at a time. Just hopefully this passes over very shortly. But we are on Pro Football Network. This is a different and new, and I believe recently published website. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a new website we're going to use because the Draft Network, which we usually use, especially with Jarrett, huge shout out to him, Flog Jarrett, from the Discord chat as well. We tried to subscribe to the premium thing that they have so we can make trades, but for some reason their trade system was not working. So we just decided to use this because this applies free trades and everything. You have to be a little more realistic, so of course it's going to be a little more complex. But we're going to select all teams, start simulation. This is just the first full round mock draft. And I believe we all know who the inevitable first round pick or number one overall pick is going to be, correct?
Yeah. I don't think Miami are going to trade up as much as they're saying they will. I think the Bengals would be stupid to move anywhere. So Joe Burrow, number one.
Yeah, for sure. Now with the Redskins, do you think they should go offensive tackle ideally, or do you think it's just too hard to pass up on Chase Young?
I don't think you can pass up on Chase Young. He's probably the best pass rush to come out of the draft since, God. Well, I'd take him over Nick Bosa last year. I'd take him over most pass rushers that have come out first rounds in the past few years. So, yeah, Chase Young.
Yeah, the dude is a freak. Now we have the Lions. This is interesting because apparently, according to Ian Rappaport, there is discussions and rumors that the Lions could trade the number or are open to trading the number 3 overall pick. Do you think there's a trade here, or do you think they just stay where they are? Is there anyone you have in mind?
Well, I think the Dolphins could trade up, but just thinking about it, there's been a lot of talk that maybe the Dolphins aren't as high on Tua as everyone thinks they are.
Right.
So I think they'll probably stay where they are for now. So I think they'll take a Cuda at 3.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they need a corner anyway. They traded Slay, so that's ideal there. Now we have the Giants. They could go many ways here. Offensive lineman. They could go edge rusher. They could go Simmons. Who do you think, man?
Well, I've got them taking Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle from Iowa.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could say Jedrick Wills, but I think Wirfs is probably the better all-round player. So we'll go with him at 4.
Yeah, for sure. And they need protection for sure. Now we have the Dolphins. Do you think they still go Tua here? Do you think they go another option?
Oh, well, I think everyone's really overcomplicating this whole thing. I think Tua's their guy, and I think the plan always was for him to be their guy. So, yeah, Tua at 5.
Yeah.
No question for me.
For sure. And I think the Dolphins should definitely take Tua, even though he does have injury concerns. They have 2 extra first-round picks, so they can get protection for Tua to keep him healthy. Right. And the thing is, if they don't take Tua, I have a very, very, very bad feeling that the Patriots could eventually either trade up or Tua could drop down to the Patriots, and we could have another 20 years of misery. And we don't want that. So Dolphins, do the smart thing and take Tua. Yeah. Huh. Now we have the Chargers. Who do you think to go here, man?
Well, the obvious would be Justin Herbert, but if you think about it, they could. Cam Newton's still around, and you could think that they might go after him, and he'd be a cheaper option, maybe good for the next few years. And I don't know how high people are on Justin Herbert. I think a lot of people think he isn't a first-round talent, which to me is crazy because I quite like the guy. But
yeah.
So, if we think about it, if they don't take Herbert, who else could they go with? So, if we look at team needs, it's taking a long time.
Yeah, right here.
Where are they? So,
where are the Chargers?
Quarterback, corner, receiver. I don't think they go receiver. They've already got Allen and Williams. So, yeah, we'll just go with Herbert, and they'll leave Newton, I think. So he can sit behind Taylor for eight games or maybe a full season and then take over.
Right. Yeah, because Herbert definitely is going to need some
development.
Yeah, for sure. And now, like you said with Newton, he is a plug-and-play guy. I think he's perfect for the Chargers system. But maybe they're thinking long-term. They're thinking young. So Herbert could still be ideal and is probably inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
Now we have the Panthers. Isaiah Simmons is still on the board. They could still take Derek Brown as well. Maybe offensive tackle. Who do you think, man?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer here. I think Simmons is who they'll pick. They need a linebacker. They need to replace Luke Kuechly, and I think Simmons is good enough, more than good enough to replace him. He's so versatile. He can play linebacker, safety, can even put him outside linebacker if they need to, and even slot corner. So, yeah, I think they'd be stupid to pass up on Simmons, so he'll go to the Panthers.
Very well said. Couldn't agree more, man. Now we have the Cardinals. They don't need receiver no more. They could go offensive lineman, protect Kyler Murray, their rushing game, of course. Maybe they do go receiver. Who knows? Although they definitely don't need it. But who do you think they go here?
Now, this is interesting because I thought until a few days ago, I thought definitely offensive tackle. But then it's been coming out recently that if Derek Brown is there at number 8, they're gonna snap him up. So that's interesting. But I think they'd be smart to go offensive tackle. Kyler really struggled last year with the pass rush, and their offensive line was really bad. So I think they'll go offensive tackle, and I think they'll take Jedrick Wills.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta protect the future. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, he did, suffer against pass rush, especially the one game that comes to mind is the Steelers game. He made a lot of bad mistakes due to pressure, so you gotta give some protection there. Now we have the Jaguars. I think it's ideal who they go here because, they don't have their 2 top corners anymore. So who do you think to go here?
Well, you could say because they do need somebody to replace Calais Campbell. So Derek Brown's still there, so that's an option for them.
Yeah.
But then if you go corner, you could go C.J. Henderson, Trayvon Diggs. So who, in your opinion, who's the top corner in this class? Because there's a few up there.
Well, in this class, it's Okunga, if I'm Ohio State.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
But the second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Aside from Akudis.
Oh yeah. Who's the best corner on the board right now? I'd go Henderson. Henderson. But you do make a valid point about their defensive line and replacing Campbell. He's definitely a big loss there. So they have options. They could go D tackle in the second round. They can get plenty guys.
Well, let's not
forget
they have a second first round selection.
That's true, right there, number 20. So
you gotta think with Derek Brown still on the board, they could get Brown here to fill the void at defensive line, and then who knows? Maybe Henderson or Diggs is still there at 20, and then they can get their number 1 corner there. I don't know.
Or still get a quality.
I think that's what I'd do if I were the Jags. I'd take Derek Brown because he's a top talent, and at 9, he's probably higher value than the 9th overall selection. Usually.
Absolutely.
It's just about team needs. So I'd go Derek Brown here, and then they can get a cornerback later on because there's a lot of corners in this draft who are worthy of a higher pick.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very valid point right there. And Derek Brown lasting to 9 is unbelievable, so you can't really pass up on him. Arguably best player available. Now we have the Browns.
Right, so all sense would point to the Browns going offensive tackle, but knowing them, they'll bloody go with Judy or another receiver because it's a flashy pick, and we know how the Browns like flashy picks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think calmer heads will prevail, and they'll take Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, which I wouldn't hate because I think Becton's a phenomenal tackle. But I also hate it because I feel bad for Becton in his career. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But good for the Browns. They get a fucking tackle to replace Joe Thomas. Good for them. Whatever. They're still gonna go 6-10. The Jets. They could go receiver here. They lost Robbie Anderson, so.
That's what I do, and I'm not going to buy into all this that Ruggs is the best receiver in the draft. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I think Judy's better, but then also I really like CD Lamb. But in terms of the fit, I think Judy's probably the best replacement for Robbie Anderson. So we'll go Jerry Judy to the Jets.
Interesting, because people are saying Ruggs could go off the board first because of his speed, but ideally I think Judy would be better because he's just the most polished receiver to come out of this draft class. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be the best receiver to come out of this draft class. I think he's the most polished heading into the draft. I think Lamb's going to be the best out of this entire draft class, but you can't go wrong either way. Judy to the Jets, although Ruggs does fit their system in terms of speed, but Judy would still be ideal in terms of, just overall receiver-wise. Now we have the Raiders. Could they go receiver here as well? Could they go lineman, maybe D-tackle?
I think they will go receiver again here. Henry Ruggs seems like a John Gruden type pick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. He just seems like, I don't know. John Gruden seems like the type of person who would like a player like him, but I would be going against my own opinions if I put Ruggs ahead of Lamb, so I'm going to give Lamb
to the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Ruggs there. Now, may he rest in peace. If Al Davis was still living with us today, Ruggs would automatically be the pick just based on speed. We all know Al Davis and his love for speed guys. That's why Darius Hayward-Bay went in the first round. So, but, unfortunately he's not here with us. But, CeeDee Lamb, man, I mean, him with the Raiders would just be filthy. He'd be the next great Raiders receiver for sure. If Derek Carr can get his shit together, but, that's for sure. Now we have the Niners. Could they go receiver here, or could they go corner? Maybe D-line?
If I'm the Niners, I would probably go corner here because they're secondary, really. Well, I guess Kinlaw's still on the board, so they could go with him. But, if I were the Niners, Richard Sherman's not getting any younger, and the secondary did show signs of weakness last year. So I'd go C.J. Henderson here.
Yeah, for him to last this long is crazy, and you got to take him. And like you said, Sherman's only going to get older. And he did look kind of weak in the Super Bowl against Sammy Watkins. So you got to get young.
Exactly.
Got to get young. Now we have the Buccaneers. Who do you think to go here?
Well, they've got to protect Brady. Their offense is, it's stacked, apart from their offensive line. And I'm sure they will have agreed with Brady to work on the offensive line if he was to go there.
For sure.
So I think they'll take Andrew Thomas here.
Okay. I think that's ideal right there. I mean,
you got to protect Brady. They have no line.
Yeah. So now we have the Broncos. Now, they could go receiver to pair with Sutton, which could be terrifying. They could trade down because maybe they want to gain more draft capital. What draft capital do they have? Well, they got an incredible amount of draft capital, but I don't know. There's been no trades yet. Is there a possible partner do you think the Broncos could trade with, or do you think it's just too hard to pass on a guy on the board right now?
Let's think. How many picks do the Eagles have? Have the Eagles got?
They have
options?
8 picks. But, I mean, for a guy like Henry Ruggs, kind of got to take him.
They trade up, but I'm not too sure because he does remind me of Jackson, who's been the most successful receiver, in the last decade. So they could do that, but I think the Broncos will probably stay here and probably take Ruggs themselves.
Yeah. All that speed, man, with Sutton, and you got Noah Fant, and you got Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay in the backfield with a young quarterback from Drew Lock. They could be on the rise. They really could.
I think they will be. I think the Broncos will be a playoff team this year. I think they'll sneak into that 7 seed.
Wow, that's very bold. But I'm not going to disagree with you, man. They are heavily slept on, for sure. Now we have the Falcons. They have 6 picks.
Yeah.
But maybe they could trade. I don't know. But, well, they got Gurley. Now, depending on how you look at Gurley in his current situation, they don't necessarily need a running back. I don't think a running back will go this early. They could get a D-tackle, maybe, but they still have Grady Jarrett. I don't know exactly who they would go here, that they necessarily need. Maybe I'm missing something.
I'd probably go corner here because they got rid of Desmond Trufant and he went to the Lions.
That's true.
They have no number one corner. So that's just me, though.
They could still trade down a few picks and get a corner, though, so you could.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of anybody who would trade up.
I know.
Yeah. Patriots could trade up, but, there's not really.
Maybe the Vikings? I mean, they have 2 first-round picks, so they could trade up, but, I mean, maybe for D-line, Everson Griffin's still a free agent. They could get D-line here. Javon Kinlaw is still on the board, arguably the best D-tackle. Let's see, who else is still on the board? They got let's just go defense. Let's go to position, defensive end. AJ Epenza, is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
Although I honestly don't think he's necessarily... He could be dropping just based on his combine. So, I don't know. What are you thinking here?
I can't see anybody who would trade up this high. I don't think there's anybody who needs to, so I'm just going to say the Falcons will take Kinlaw.
Okay.
Because he seems to fit their system quite well.
Right. And plus...
And they need defense.
Yeah, they lost Beasley, I believe, so...
Mm-hmm.
Still got to replace D-line nonetheless. Now we got the Cowboys. Dak is on the franchise tag. They were able to keep Cooper. Do they go defense here? Or do they go center? Or do they go center? Because Frederick retired.
They could go center, but I think they'll go defense. So the two that stand out to me are cornerback and safety. So I think they'll probably take Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs? Okay.
Yeah. Or you could go with a safety, but I don't know whether this is a little early for these quality safeties, in my opinion. So I think this is good value for Diggs at this spot.
Yeah, for sure. And plus, they lost Byron Jones, so they're definitely going to have to replace him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have the Dolphins with the pick they got from the Steelers. Who do you think they go here? They could use running back. They could use offensive line still.
Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do here. So if they do draft Tua, which obviously we have them drafting Tua, they need to protect him. Most of their free agents were defense. They didn't really invest in offensive line, a huge amount. So I think Austin Jackson from USC here.
Yeah, and that's the perfect replacement for Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. So, for sure. Now we have the Raiders again with their second first-round pick. They got CeeDee Lamb with the first pick. Where do they go here?
Now, I think if they don't trade down, they'll probably go corner, and Christian Fulton's the best corner left. So possibly him, but then you could look at trading down. It's not unlike the Raiders to make trades on draft day. They do that a lot.
I'm going to, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to propose something. What about the Ravens?
Yeah.
They have a ton of draft capital.
They do, yeah. So if we look at the Ravens, what do they need? So they need
let's go team
outside linebacker, receiver. I think the Ravens will trade up here. Because I was speaking to Jarrett and he said that he thinks the Ravens will trade up.
Yeah. And plus they still need outside linebacker. Kenneth Murray still on the board, who Jarrett, who shout to him, is seriously high on and thinks the Ravens are seriously going to grab. So very possible there. So we're going to propose
Chase on is still up there as well, but
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, him too. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a look at the trade here. So if we say, how does this work?
All right.
So Ravens and the Raiders. Yeah.
All right. So let's trade first round picks because that's obvious. Now, what would the Ravens offer additionally for the Raiders pick?
They would have to. Because it's not a small trade, is it? They're trading up. What is it? 9 spots.
Yeah.
So they'll give them the 28, so they'll swap picks. And then probably, do you think 28 and 55 for 19?
I think so.
Or-
Maybe the Ravens add an additional mid-round pick, maybe the 106th, maybe 129th.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the 129th. That should be enough because, like you said,
So-
it's not a big trade. So
So
big
28, 55, 129th, the 19th.
yeah, so let's propose. Let's confirm. The trade was accepted. How about that? So the Ravens have traded with the Raiders. Now, we are in business, man. Do you guys, what the hell? We're Steelers fans. Do the Ravens go Chasen from LSU, or do they go Kenneth Murray here?
I mean, Chasen's the higher ranked on here, but from what I've seen of Murray, I was really impressed with him. Even in that game against LSU where they got blown out, I thought he was, he was causing a few problems for them. So, yeah, I think we'll go Murray here.
Yeah, for sure.
The Ravens.
Absolutely. And that is our first trade. That is very interesting. Now we have the Jags with their second first-round pick. They took Derek Brown with the first pick. Do they go corner like we were talking?
Yeah, so you've got to think they'll go corner, and it'll be Christian Fulton.
Yeah.
I think.
For sure. Christian Fulton to replace Ramsey. Right there. Now we have the Eagles. Denzel Mims is still on the board. He is a speedster, and that's exactly what the Eagles need. They need a receiver. They need speed. Do you think they go that, or do they go a different route?
Well, I think they'll go receiver. They need a receiver badly.
Mhm.
And I think it's between Mims and Jefferson.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm higher on Mims than I am Jefferson, but I can see them taking Jefferson. But Mims has been really rising up people's boards recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they'll take Denzel Mims.
Okay. For sure, Denzel Mims, I think that's the perfect guy to add a special explosive threat for Wentz.
Yeah, and the target that he desperately needs that can stay healthy and be on the field.
For sure. Now we have the Vikings with their first round pick, which I believe was the Bills pick, the 22nd, I believe. So, do they go receiver here? Justin Jefferson still on the board. Do they go corner? Maybe edge rusher?
Yeah. I think maybe edge rusher would be good value here because AJ Epinesa, if that's how you say his name, is still on the board.
Yeah.
So you could go him here. Yeah, I think that's what they'll go with. They need improvements to that defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they need a guy to replace Everson Griffin.
Yeah. So it depends. It could be that. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. Correct us if we're wrong. No idea. He goes to the Vikings anyway. Now we have the Patriots. Do they stick with Jarrett Stidham or do they go with Jordan Love, who is still on the board? This is interesting. What do you think, man?
So we know that Bill Belichick's been trying to replace Brady for a few years. He wasn't happy when they traded Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love here at 23 is really good value. So I think that's what they'll do. It's the end of the Brady era. It's the start of a new era, and they'll go Jordan Love from Utah State.
And they just got to add quarterback competition, so that's for sure.
And I don't think he'll start. I think Stidham will get the start, and they'll see how he does, but then they'll probably bring Jordan Love in.
Yeah.
Midway through the season or maybe next season.
Right, for sure. Now we have the Saints. They don't need receiver anymore because they got Sanders to go with Thomas. What exactly do they need? I'm not necessarily that certain. Corner, inside linebacker. Patrick Queen still on the board. Maybe safety.
I don't really see safety, though.
Yeah, because they still got. They lost Von Bell, but they can address.
They signed
later.
Malcolm Jenkins, and they got.
Did they?
Yeah.
I forgot. That's right.
And they got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, so I think they're fine with safety.
That's right. I forgot, man. I forgot that they got Johnson. That's not fair.
So it's here. Queen is listed as an outside linebacker, but he can play inside quite comfortably. So and I don't know about Chase on whether he's just strictly an outside guy. I think he is.
But they don't need that.
So no. So I think they'll take Queen here as an inside linebacker.
Yeah, for sure. Now we have the Vikings again. They took AJ Penza with their first pick. Do they go receiver here to replace Diggs? Maybe corner. What other corners are there? There is Jeff Gladney, who is being projected to be a potential first-rounder. Receiver is deep, so they could take receiver day 2.
Yeah, and you got to think they lost their 3 starting corners.
Yeah.
And Xavier Rhodes left,
Yeah.
Trey Waynes left, Mackenzie Alexander left. They have no corners.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think Gladney to the Vikings at 25.
Yeah. They just need defense for sure. They need corner depth because they got Mike Hughes, but they need someone opposite of him.
Exactly.
So now we have the Dolphins again with their 3rd first-round pick. They have taken Tua, of course. They've taken Austin Jackson. Do they go running back here? Do they go? Do they sweep the first round with offense, or do they go edge rusher?
Well, it is clearly a need running back,
Yeah.
and it says here that's the 3rd biggest need they have, as well as defensive tackle. Just look at the defense that's left in terms of defensive end. They could take Gross Matos from Penn State, but I think now's the perfect time for a running back. And even though he's not my top running back, I think he's, kind of the general consensus that DeAndre Swift's the top running back. So I think that's who they go with here.
Okay. Now we did just look at the team needs. Rashad Jones was released, so could they still take safety to add to your options, or do you still think they stick with Swift?
Well, they have obviously they have picks right at the beginning of the 2nd round.
Yeah.
39.
Yeah. So seven picks after. Yeah.
But then the safety class is fairly deep as well. Well, at least for the first few rounds. So
Yeah.
there's Winfield, McKinney, Delpit. Yeah, I think I could see them taking a safety here, and then leaving running back, which is unfortunate for us because we need a running back. But
Yeah.
so it's between McKinney and Swift, but I think McKinney here would be a better pick because I think he'll be gone by the 39.
Yeah, for sure. And who knows? Swift might drop to 39. Maybe no running back goes in the first round, but it's possible. But nonetheless, they can still get a quality running back. Maybe Jonathan Taylor at 39, which would be perfect for them.
Yeah.
So now we have the Seahawks. Do they go offensive line? Finally, do they go center with Cesar Ruiz? Am I pronouncing that right? Center from Michigan, or do they still go with maybe a edge rusher, maybe to replace Clowney?
Well, you'd be able to get Gross Matos here at good value because he's projected as the 22nd best player, and this is 27. So I could see them doing that. In terms of offensive line, Cesar Ruiz would be the most logical for an offensive lineman. They need a center. So, yeah, I think that's what they'll do here.
Yeah. I mean, they just have to protect Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although he is great when under pressure, he's so what's the term? He pretty much improvises like when he's under pressure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just gotta like you give him protection, and you're talking MVP. Like you gotta give him protection for sure.
And the Seahawks had a lot of problems with running back injuries last year, and so that'll be a concern for them again this year. And the reason why they had so many injuries is because they were getting banged up because of the bad offensive line. So really, a center here makes sense.
Absolutely. Now with the Raiders here, they took CeeDee Lamb with the first pick. Where they go here? What are their team needs? Yeah. Let's see.
Receiver.
Corner.
Oh, yeah, because, of course, we traded down, didn't we? So
right, of course.
Cornerback, safety. I think here the Raiders will take Grant Delpit.
Grant Delpit. Okay, wow. Yeah. I mean, they did lose Carl Joseph, so.
Yeah, they need a safety opposite of, what's his name, LaMarcus Joyner.
Well, not just him, but Jonathan Abram. Don't forget, Jonathan Abram was a first-round pick last year.
That's right.
And he's coming back from injury. So do they really go safety here?
I forgot they got him.
They could take Terrell, I guess. He's a good cornerback option, or Jalen Johnson.
Oh, you're looking at corner?
Oh yeah, they
the team needs on this site say safety's a need. So I'm not going to lie, I don't know a huge amount about the Raiders' defense. I know they drafted safety last year, but their defense wasn't good last year.
Who they have as edge rusher? Because I know they got Farrell, but he didn't really apply much to their pass rush in terms of stats.
They got
They had another rookie whose name I can't remember.
Max Crosby.
That's right. Yeah, they got Max.
That's him.
Yeah, Max Crosby, who had a double-digit sack season. So I think they're good on pass rush. Then what could they use? Maybe offensive line? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe offensive line. They could take Josh Jones here. He's an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They could take him.
Who do they have as tackles? Because
they have Colton Miller, I think that's his name, but I can't remember. I can't think of. Oh, Gabe Jackson, but he's not really much of anything.
Isn't he a guard?
I think he switched to guard. I think it was originally a I don't know. I don't really pay attention to their offensive line. So.
Yeah, the Raiders are a little difficult here because we don't really scout the Raiders much. Although they could be on the rise.
I think they could go Josh Jones here, offensive tackle. They need a new tackle. They need to sort that O-line out if they want to be challenging for the playoffs.
That's for sure. You got to protect,
especially with Josh Jacobs. In his second year, they've got to make sure he stays healthy, and they need a good offensive line to help him. So,
for sure,
I think Josh Jones here from Houston is the best pick.
Yeah, we'll go Josh Jones with the Raiders. Now we have the Titans. Do they go edge rusher to pair up with Harold Landry? They lost Cameron White to retirement. They traded away Jarrell Casey for a 7th rounder, so they could go edge rusher. Chasen's still on the board. Gross Models is still on the board, so I think it's definitely between one of those two.
Let's see. Outside linebackers. Yeah, outside linebackers an option. I think Chasen here is probably the best place to go.
Yeah, for him to still be on the board, you got to take him there.
Yeah.
Help you pass rush for sure. Now we have the Packers. They could go receiver to pair with Adams, but they could go. What are their team needs though? They
Packers wide receiver, offensive tackle, inside linebacker, and a guard.
But
I don't think they'll go offensive lineman. I think they'll go receiver because I don't think Rodgers trusts any of his receivers other than Adams.
Yeah, because
he needs another person to have. So I think Justin Jefferson to the Packers here.
Yeah.
It was either going to be Jefferson or Mims. I think there's a lot of debate over the 4th best in the class. So I think they were either going to pick up one of those two. So Jefferson here.
Yeah. And like you said, he doesn't trust many of his current receivers outside Adams. He's been very critical of his receivers, so give him number 2 in Jefferson for sure.
Yeah.
Now we have the Niners with their second first-round pick. They drafted C.J. Henderson with their first pick, which was from the Colts. So do they go receiver here maybe to replace Sanders?
They could do, or they could look at trading down, possibly.
Interesting.
You get more draft value.
I think that's quite a viable option for them.
Well, who trades back into the first round?
Well, Gross Matos is still there.
Yeah,
so somebody.
Yeah, you gotta think. Yeah. You gotta think who could use him, who could really want him. To trade back into the first. I'm not really sure.
Defensive end, the Redskins. No, they took Chase Young, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So
looking at these.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at trade or teams. As a matter of fact,
the Lions are an option here. Could move forward a couple of picks because they're. But then they'd probably be able to get him at 35 or wherever it is that they pick.
Where
35?
Where are the Jets at in the second?
Good question. Jets. Let's go to the Jets. They are at 48 and they have 68. So I believe that's 2 second-round picks.
I think that's a good option then. I think we could have a trade between the Jets and the Niners.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And the Jets have no pass rushers, considering they traded away Leonard Williams, who wasn't doing anything for them at all anyway. So they need rushers.
And Quinnen Williams we don't know what's going on with him.
Exactly.
I imagine he'll play, but you never know.
That's true. So you thinking the Jets trade with the 49ers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we have a look.
So the Niners
So
would trade their 31st. And, of course...
that'll be for the 48. Possibly a second next year.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe the 158 is a massive gap from 120 and 191, but...
I think if they traded the 48 the second next year, or maybe even the third next year if they went 100, if they gave them the 120. But probably, I think the 48 the second next year and the 120 would be enough for the 31st.
Okay, so the 48 the second next year and 120 for the 31st?
Yeah, we'll try that.
All right, propose.
See if that gets accepted.
Confirm. And it has been accepted. How about that? So the Jets have traded back into the first round, and they have selected Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State.
Yep.
Wow, what a trade. 2 trades in the first round. The Ravens have traded with the Ravens traded with the Raiders to draft Kenneth Murray, and with that the Raiders drafted Josh Jones, and the Jets have traded with the 49ers for Yetur Gross-Matos. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. How about that? Now we have the Super Bowl champions, of course. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. Do they go running back here? Do they depend on Damian Williams, or do they go another option?
Now, you've got to think that running back is a need for them, but for me, I think their offense is pretty stacked how it is. So, and their defense has shown weaknesses at times. Not the pass rush; they really got the pass rush together, but the secondary. So I think AJ Terrell here would make sense for the Chiefs.
Okay, and they do need corner.
And they brought back Rashad Breeland, but they lost Kendall Fuller, so they definitely need a new number one. I think Terrell's their guy.
That's for sure. So, how about that? Now, this is the full first-round mock. You guys can pause the video and look over, as you guys can see. How about that, man? 2 trades in the first round with the Ravens and the Raiders, and the Jets trading back into the first to draft their future edge rusher. How about that? No running backs in the first round, which is very possible. Very possible. Patriots get their new quarterback. So do the Bengals. Wow, very, very interesting first-round mock, man. This was very fun to make. I want to thank Josh K for joining us for this first-round mock, man. It was a lot of fun doing it with you.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. It was a lot of fun doing it with you, man. And, of course, we're going to have another full first-round mock coming out, I believe, next week with Flock Jarrett. Will be our final full first-round mock. We could get some other trades getting in there. But, again, I want to thank Josh K for coming on here and just having a blast and making some very interesting trades and a very fun first-round mock, man. So thanks a lot, man.
Thank you for having me on. And all the viewers, make sure you stay safe in this difficult time, and hope everybody is doing okay.
Well said, man. Absolutely. And, of course, you are more welcome to join us during the piece. So, Bob, send us out, man.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!